Hey, throughout the history, world has gone through many different problems, but you know who will never stop arguing with each other? Different generations. But today I'm not going to discuss flying toilets or funny cats, but something that older people find interesting and funny. You may say that not all boomers are stuck in their shell, which is true. We can't blame boomers, they've spent their whole youth without the internet. So it may be hard for them to understand what jokes should be posted and which should never be published. I will try to open the door to the world of boomers on the internet. There's nothing more that boomers like to do than making fun of modern teenagers and young people. Because obviously we became very soft and the internet made our brains smooth. A book, you say? What do you plug it into? Your mind. I use those things to hold doors in my apartment. Didn't know you can use them on your head too. Yes, nowadays we don't learn to read letters. We only pretend to be smart and randomly hit our computer's keyboard hoping that it will mean something. Actually, I've heard the phrase, "what does it plug into?" only from my parents or grandparents. So do better research before trying to imitate us. How we unfriended someone back in my day. Beating someone is much more cooler than talking or unfriending someone on the internet. But I really can understand Jimmy. I would do the same if someone said that my dad has halitosis. Children of the internet like us are not ready for these sorts of attacks. How are we going to protect our families? Sending an angry emoji? Back to school. 1966. 2023. These modern kids ask for so many excessive things, like water. Back in 1966 we were hydrated with our saliva, because why do we need it then? And of course every kid has a microchip and GPS built in them. That's a regular procedure right after birth. Back in my days everything was so much better, because no one could know if I'm in danger and need some help. Kids these days want electronic nicotine sticks and video games so they can curse out strangers online. I just wanted this 64 Crayola set with built-in sharpener. Hate those kids with their electric nicotine sticks. In our youth, everyone used the real acoustic nicotine sticks. They shame new generations for this kind of lifestyle, pretending that at this age they had an innocent interest like Crayolas. But in right hands, those could give you plenty of space to be original. Man 1992, Man 2023. Man 4 million years BC. It's called evolution. What happened to people in 1993? They started to make t-shirts with prints, scooters and wearing helmets. Now we know what to blame for making our society go the wrong way. The funny thing is that I'm pretty sure that both of these pictures were taken in the same year, and probably a couple years ago. Of course, laughing at younger people is not their only hobby. Making fun of each other is great too, or it would be more right to say at women their age. So I'm not 25 anymore. There is no reason I shouldn't sunbathe topless. I have a couple tips for you if you want to have a nice tan. Try to change the position of your breasts every 30 minutes. For example, you can tie them behind your neck, or make yourself comfy at the beach and use them as a pillow. And you can share one of them with someone too. What? I'm just a very pragmatic person. Husband hack. Next time you're in a fight with your wife, start undressing. She will instantly have a headache and fall asleep.
Women.
There is nothing more funny than a marriage that falls apart. Like, name at least one thing that is funnier than "the only way I communicate with my wife is arguing." Those wives never let men drink beer and watch football matches. And don't think that it's me being stereotypic. You never listen to me, you only hear what you want to hear. Sure, I'll have a beer. And based on what we've seen, this is how life of this character should look like. Listen, I feel like our relationship doesn't work out anymore. You need to move out. Sure, just bring me a beer. But if his son brings with himself to school a water bottle or a sunscreen, this man will probably explode. If you have some doubts about these pictures being funny for boomers, I can easily prove it to you. You just need to find a post like this and then go to the comments. Will you destroy my life? Oh my god, yes! I've never seen such a big amount of laughing emojis in the comments. Man to man, you don't even need to ask her if she's going to ruin your life. I hope girls will forgive me for sharing our biggest secret on the internet. But it's the only mission of every woman to destroy a life of at least one man. We have a hierarchy where the most powerful woman eats on a breakfast ruined by us males. How to make sure your wife and daughter spend no money on vacation. Yes, because that's the reason why humanity created vacations, to save up some money. That's how everyone imagines their trip. You went to the Paris, one of the most beautiful cities with fashionable shops and fancy cuisine, to live on the streets and search for some tasty crumbles you can fight for with a pigeon. But I would say I'm quite surprised that he still calls it a vacation, because boomers claim that they can't have a nice time with their wives. Quite progressive. As you've seen, boomers really love this kind of jokes that leaves you with a nasty aftertaste. And a big amount of their jokes is related to people's intimate parts of their bodies. Hey, I told you I was part Chihuahua. Yeah, but you didn't say that part. If you ever tried to give your parents a phone with a joke or a meme on it, then you know that they need some time to reread it a couple of times and ask you what's happening there. But gladly, to avoid those problems, there we have a small explanation. That's one teeny weeny. Care for your boomer, write them a small explanation even if that makes you cringe. I choose no more confused boomers. Add a funny picture so they understand where they need to laugh. We've both changed these last 9 months, love. Now I miss explaining teeny weeny guy. We got there a pregnant man who tried to hide his situation and moved to an island for 9 months to transport a baby to this woman, and now they apparently need some help. I really miss a joke here. Doctor, please tell me boy or girl. I want to update status on Facebook. I'm surprised she even talked to the doctor. I would send him a message because I see no reason to not use a phone. Also, is there any way you can give birth on Facebook? I just don't want my followers to miss it. And yeah, do you like my baby's name? I want to call them Instagramus. Cute, right? I haven't found anything related to Facebook birth, but wireless babies are funny too. Doctor, this one was born without an umbilical cord. It's because he's from a wireless generation of Wi-Fi and mobile data. I know you feel stressed about this art style as much as me, but try to relax and do a small meditation afterwards. I really have only one question. Do doctors really hold babies like that? For me, it gives the vibe of a magician pulling out a rabbit out of the cylinder hat. Hold on, babe, I don't want to lose you. Okay, she has fake hair, glutes and breasts, but how did her private area fall off? I think it's how she stays aerodynamic without messing up her look. They are obsessed with talking about fake girls nowadays. And don't feel special if you have, for example, lip filler, because they laugh at everybody. If you don't have a model body or a face, that's another reason to make a joke. So it works both ways. It's their vocation to find reasons to dislike someone younger than they are. So you can't stop them. Before 6 beers. After 6 beers. The magic ability of beer to make men look pregnant and others look finely to their beauty standards. That's why they always ask their wives for a beer. I'm sorry, I think these comics really damage my sense of humor. I promise I won't do that again. Maybe only after 6 beers. Now when we've laughed at good jokes, we're getting closer to deep thoughts of boomers. I've never thought about that. Giant Facebook signs in the middle of deserts are a very big problem of modern world. Like if you agree with that. The one who chose water is probably a stupid teenager, because it's unnecessary to drink for everyone who was born up to 80s. I really hope the original post was made on Facebook. Again, they need to do a better research, because it seems like they laugh at themselves. 15 years ago, the owner's manual of a car showed you how to adjust the valves. Today it warns you not to drink the contents of the battery. I suppose this paper were printed on the door of the toilet, so you could sit and think of the world's main problems like a philosopher. Should I even tell you about the existence of the articles like bizarre things people believed 50 years ago? Without a single degree, they built us roads that have lasted an eternity. And then the engineers arrived. Oh my god, I finally understood why men always think of Roman Empire. Hate engineers with degrees. They need life lessons instead. Like a wife that hates you or riding a motorcycle in the desert. It's a method backed by scientists. I know you won't check it. People born in 50s have lived in 7 decades, 2 centuries and 2 millenniums. We had the best music, fastest cars, drive-in theaters, soda fountains and happy days. And we're not even that old yet, we're just that cool. Don't forget to mention your exclusive taste in pictures in this post. No one says that boomers are not cool, but the creator of this post really should have thought of different reasons of being the best generation. I know the picture I showed you at the beginning could confuse someone, but people still use cars. Even though they don't fly like people imagined it 70 years ago, but they had some upgrades. I want to say that I don't have any prejudice about any generation, because obviously every part of history history matters. And even though we grew up in different centuries, that doesn't mean that we are some different people. We still love meeting with our friends, even if we chat with them using a phone too. And Zoomers can read and even write, if that's even a question. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I am a small creator and it is really important for me. Bye!